Hello and welcome everybody, I'm one proud Bavarian and this is Imperator Rome. I could not be more excited to present this game to you today, 7 days before release. Paradox was kind enough to give me a review copy for free. So first of all, yes, I received this for free. Second of all, no, I'm not bored, I'm not paid, I'm not sponsored. My opinions are my own and everything that you see is my own determination to like this game. I have already achieved a staggering amount of hours in this game, and I'll be honest with you, if I showed you the numbers of how much I've played Imperator Rome while I had this copy, you would not believe it. You actually straight up would accuse me of lying about my numbers. The magic behind this is that I have had a lot of fun now. You know, I've been playing these kind of games for over 13, 14 years. I have a lot of experience. I played the original as well, Europa Universalis Rome, also made by Johan Andersson back in the day, who's also spearheading, let me open it, spearheading this project, Johan Andersson, there he is. And I can only say, I think, after 11 years after EU Rome, what we have here is a product of its time that has learned so much from Crusader Kings 2, Victoria 2, Europa Universalis 4, and honestly even from Hearts of Iron 4. This game, in my opinion, signifies a new era of Paradox games that we just can't appreciate enough right now, because I don't think most people know what this is all about. Now, I was thinking about it. You know, I'm going to have two series simultaneously running on this channel. This one is the first. The second one will release its first episode 2 hours after this one. And I was thinking, hey, I kind of want to do a tutorial series because, you know, I know how this game works because I've played so much. I know the intricacies and everything. And then I tried to record it and it was just like, you know, if anything, I would ever do that in an editing format. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain as I go, but I will also make sure to make it clear what I'm doing and why I'm doing it at every turn. Meaning that if you are new to this genre, you will no longer be afraid of the menus, no longer be afraid of the numbers and the map when you load into your very own copy of Imperator Rome in just 7 days' time. If you are an old, you know, eagle, an old veteran of the genre, then you will probably still learn, I almost said trotzdem, which is German. You will probably still learn some new and nice things. So let's just load in. We're going to play Rome in this playthrough. We're going to play something else in the other playthrough, as should be apparent. And I want to warn you here. In this playthrough, I will not optimize when it comes to, you know, for example, where everything is. I want to kind of see the normal world development, how it goes, because that is always very interesting perspective to have. And in the other playthrough, we are going to use, and I just had to get rid of my jacket there, of my over jacket. I kind of, you know, we are going to kind of use a little bit of an exploit, but it's a fun one. And I want to have fun in these playthroughs. Now, this playthrough will very heavily be roleplay. I will explain how the mechanics work, but do not be afraid when you see me disregard some of them at some points or give some of them more weight than they actually have. For example, characters in this game are there. They have tremendous potential for roleplay, but you can most of the time just ignore them. Could just be like, let's just not worry about you too much. No. We're going to give that a really, really heavy weight. Anyway, so what do we have here? We have Rome in the position of 304 BCE, which equals to 450 AUC, so ad urbe condita, from the founding of the city of Rome. And I want to first talk about the map. The map is beautiful. Not just, you know, with its provinces and its shapes and... Man, does anybody remember back when Rome was this big a province in earlier games? And now look at this absolute beauty. You can see everything in so much detail. And look at the Nile Delta. It's just so gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. But they also made a good choice with the start date, because what you have here is 3 sectors of the map. That is how I like to distinguish them. So what you have over here is the Battle Royale. Everybody can go for the power grab, and everybody is in a position to not be intimidated by their neighbors. Sure, the strongest factions, without a doubt, are Rome, Carthage, and Epirus, but at the same time, everybody here can rise up. If you play one of the tribes here, you can clearly make it. And everybody also plays differently. I am amazed. Johan put it into a Reddit post just a while ago, like several months at this point, where he said, hey, this will be the most complete game on release that we've ever made, and it's true. I remember when the older games launched and, you know, anywhere playing outside of the main area was just boring, but here, all the tribes are so interesting. We're gonna get to those eventually. For now, let's just jump into Rome. The other 2 parts of the map, and also, by the way, I'm gonna increase the difficulty here to very hard, giving the AI and some bonuses and me some malices. We also have the Diadochi, which is the second sector, Here you have to deal with the Titans. Everybody's already large, and if you are one of them, you have to go into the Clash of the Titans. If you are one of the weaker ones, you have to dodge the bullets that come for you left and right. And then over here, in Mario, we just have one behemoth. Absolutely destroying everybody in their way, unless those people watch out for each other. But that is a different story. We will not concern ourselves today with this. Let's read this. Senatus Populusque Romanus. For over 20 years, the nascent Roman Republic has fought a harsh campaign against the Samnite people to the south. Right here. Although victory often seemed far from grasp, the war ended in Rome's favour, resulting in the liberation of the important Greek city of Neapolis. The Samnites, however, having retreated to lick their wounds, are far from defeated. In the north, the Etruscan people eye the expansion of the Republic with apprehension. To the south, myriad Greek city-states plot behind one another's back, all the while appealing to their benefactors in Greece for aid. On the far-flung island of Sicily, the foreign invasion of the mysterious Carthaginian Empire, threatens to upset the precarious balance of power in the region. Will Rome rise victorious or fall to internal strife and barbaric hordes? The fate of the Republic rests in your hands. And with that, we are in the game, and you can just see the absolute beauty. I mean, if you've been following the development diaries, there was a lot of controversial stuff in there. For example, we only have one console. I hope that changes in the future, but who knows? And I still think this has become an absolutely tremendous game. As I said, most complete on release. I'm calling it, okay? I will also say, though, there's a lot of room for expansion. I'm looking forward to this game, and I'm gonna say it, straight up becoming the best game Paradox has ever made. I think Johan has done it again, proven that he is worth his salt as a developer. And now with all that being said, as I said, I will roleplay. The tutorialized, kind of nature of this playthrough will become apparent once we go through everything. But I will also just kind of play the game in a roleplay way, just the way you know if you have been on this channel for a while. If not, then welcome, first of all. But if you've been here for a while, then you will know I love roleplaying. And I will use the potential that Imperator Rome has to the maximum. It is a first that we have a game that is character-focused and pop-focused. We have population in every single city on the world, even in the uncolonized ones. There's some people sitting here, they're just not organized enough to actually, make up a nation. And the way it works here is, you have a city as the smallest unit. The city has a population of different people that give you different bonuses, so primarily research, primarily manpower and tax, and then over here you have the tax coming in from the slaves, because they are property that is tax. That is how the logic works. You can see what the city produces, even with the unrest. Unrest is generated by unhappy pops. And you never want it, to be too bad. You can see the civilization value, etc., etc. It's not that relevant for the time being. What is more relevant is that I want to point out, look at this beautiful map, and I want to point out there is a political map mode where everything as we know it is colored in the color of the region, or rather in the color of the nation that possesses it. But it's just, I love looking at this map, I love doing this. Now, of course, this is a game about empire building, and empire building, and I want to point that out right away so that you know where to start when you start out, is based on essentially keeping foreign cultures and religions that you conquer happy. To keep them down, but happy. So, for starters, what you should know is, if it is always a good idea to expand into territory that is at least in your culture group. You can see this is the Latin culture group, we are Romans, and if I conquer a Zabellian or an Etruscan pop, they will be like, not that bad, they're Romans, it's a bit bad, but not terrible. And then they will just move on. If you conquer Gauls, they will be very unhappy. That's a minus 30% happiness modifier right there. As you can see here, we are mostly made up of Romans as of right now. We do have some Jewish citizens over here, which we could convert or assimilate, but here you have the numbers, minus 30% for not Latin culture group, and a total of minus 15% for us and our governor not being Jewish either. Then the religious map, of course, you know the drill. It always shows the majority, or at least the plurality, or the biggest plurality on one city. It doesn't show you, what it definitively is when it comes to, it's not a 100% distribution like EU4, for example, or CK2. Very two important map modes that I want to show to you right now is the provinces map mode, because you need to understand how administration works in this game. Administration of an empire, big part of an empire. Every province, which houses multiple cities, can have their own loyalty, their own governor policy, and their own count for population. So, for example, here, we encourage local autonomy, making everybody happier, but we obviously get less out of it. In Rome itself and in Latium, we encourage manpower and local fort defense. That will not permanently be necessary. I will switch this government policy, which by the way costs power. I will switch that later, but not right now. Right now you can see with the arrows trending up that everybody's happy. There is no loyalty problem at the moment and no unrest problem either. And those provinces are ruled in total by governors that are ruling over regions. So they are made up by cities that are making up a province, and the multiple provinces make up one region. One governor can rule multiple provinces because of this and have individual policies for each province. However, if the governor and/or the province becomes unhappy and disloyal, which can never happen in our capital region, by the way, then you will spell out trouble for yourself. Currently, we are being ruled by Publius Sempronius Sophus, a historical personality that is very, very interesting. He served at this time as the consul, and he was involved in the Samnite Wars. You know, he was a good general, but he earned his nickname Sophus because he was a legal scholar. So a pretty cool dude. He's a member of the Civic Faction. Just to explain the names, just for a second here, Sempronius, so the middle name, the nomen, is always the family name of a Roman citizen, or of a Roman, you know, culture group person. Sophus is a name that they can earn, or that one of their ancestors earned, and they just adopted it. And Publius is his personal name, his given name. When he was born, that is what his parents called him. Our ruler has stats, and those stats fly into what is power. So you have a base of +2 for every single power here. You have 4 powers: military, civic, oratory, and religious. They do different things. And if your ruler has, for example, a 7, it gets rounded from the 3.5 to 3. So you get 3 points of this, then you get 4 points of this, 3 and 4 points for this. That is pretty good, meaning that your ruler has a big influence on where your country can go, how it can perform, and what you can do with it when it comes down, you know, to actually having to do things. One map mode that I want to show off before we go on and just play the game is the supply map mode, because I'm in love with this map mode. It is so good. You might say, oh, this is just a normal map mode, just shows the supply limit everywhere. That's just boring. Why are you showing me this, you nerd? But the answer is, why don't you select an army? Boom. If you select an army, it will show the respective supply, where it can stand and where it can't stand, without taking attrition on the entire map specifically for this army. So our army of 15k men has a total weight of 17. I think that comes, the additional weight here comes from the Principes. Attrition weight plus 50%, yeah, there you go. So everybody starts at 1 and then they get weight added to them. So this makes up for like 7.5 or something. Only I could do math, huh? 5, 2.5, 7. Yeah, 7.5, then you are attrition weight minus 10%, and then we end up roughly at 17 with doing that. There's some more complex math here that you are not encouraged to do as a player, because you don't need to. You have this map mode. Keep this in mind. If you're new to the genre or old to the genre, this is such a good feature. Never doing the math again. Anyway, since we are Rome, we are obviously an aristocratic republic. With an aristocratic republic also comes the Senate. And I am the Senate. So the way I see it, you want to keep an eye on the Senate, but you never really want to get too involved. At least that is how I prefer to play. What you need to know is they all, if they give you a ruler, so for example the next candidate that will win if the election were held today is Quintus Fabius Rullianus, a member of the Fabii dynasty, or the Fabii family. And he's a member of the military faction. When he takes over, we get the bonus of the military faction, which means more morale of armies, more morale of navies. The civic faction does build cost tax, mercantile does commerce, and religious people do omen power. The populists, however, are special. The populists, yeah, that's right, they give you a malus of more power cost. Now, there is something positive for the populists if you want it. With all these laws, and we're going to take a look at those once we have 250 oratory power at any point, which we don't have right now. But if you have a populist ruler, for example, you could change the election laws so that you have a term duration of a total of 50 years. So it's 5 years. Oh, yeah, 50 years. No, 45. What? Yeah, no. Okay, of 50 years. Because the normal is 5 years and 5 plus 45 is 50. So there is a positive thing that you might want to go for the populists. They also support you more blindly. Now, here's the difference that I want to point out. The allegiance of a character to a faction is independent of a faction's power in the Senate. Okay, so far so good. Let's take a look, for example, at Publius Sempronius Sophus. He is a member of the civic faction. That is his conviction, and seeing as he is the party leader, it will not change for him. However, somebody else, like you, for example, is not a party leader. He has a plus 0.8 change per month. For the civic faction, a plus 0.17, which is obviously larger. For the military faction, plus 0.14 because he's rich. Plus 1 because he has the trait zeal. Wait, what? He doesn't have the trait zeal at all. Oh no, this. Oh, this right here. So you get a 0.02 per zeal point. There you go. And then the populist faction is because, well, he is slightly corrupt. And he's also popular. So that is why he's moving constantly. Every month he gets a tick into each direction. And whichever direction is the biggest wins out. Young characters that don't get any jobs tend to go populist. Rich characters tend to go mercantile. People that served in the army are military. And so on and so forth. I hope that you understand where this is coming from. The majority in the Senate can change at any point. And, like, listen to me, now I am tutorializing everything, but I think this is good. I undersold it, I think. So, the faction strength here, I can change that for the cost of 5 Tyranny. Tyranny makes it so that the loyalty of characters plus the unrest of pops of your own culture rises a bit to the negative, so, like, it's bad for you. And then also makes it so that imprisoning and executing people is easier, you know, it's got, like, an upside a bit. So I could endorse a party for plus 5 and make them stronger, but these, as you can see here with the numbers, are constantly shifting based on where the character stands. So if you have a very influential character in a very influential position, then his party will be better off for it. So far so good. That is the Senate. People have different interests, obviously. So, for example, some people are more eager to go to war. You can check that here. Some people are more eager to war. Since I am the faction of the civic faction, they support me almost properly, you know, like almost most of them support me. The military supports me just because, you know, they kind of like war, so they're going to go for, you know, ruler from martial and from war exhaustion. So since there's no war exhaustion, they're like, yeah, we can do this. Then you have the Mercantile Faction, and the Mercantile Faction, for example, doesn't really have any particular interest. The way it works, you can see it here. Characters that are part of a faction will have changes in loyalty in certain cases, and then there will also be Senate seats reflecting the changes of the Senate once you take a decision. So your Senate is incredibly fluid, and so are the characters and their allegiances. In-game, if you want to maximize it, you can sometimes, many times, ignore that. But we're not going to ignore that. Characters are the prime point why I love this game. And we have an army here. I just split it into an army with 8 and one with 7 cohorts. Warfare, if you are not aware of it. So the way it works is you have one primary cohort that is there in the main line when you begin a battle. Once they are routed, when their morale breaks, the secondary cohort comes in. So this is like skirmishers, then this is our hard troops, and then these are the flanking cohorts. I'm going to make it so that on each side I only want 2 flanking cohorts, so that we don't need more than 4 horses. Here you go. The equitas right now are too expensive in my opinion. Then you have the heavy infantry, and I'm going to build 2 of them, and I'm going to build 2 Sagittarii, so that we're sitting... Actually, I'm going to build 3 Principes, so that we're sitting at 5, 5, and 4. I'm going to do this with the other army as well. This one. I'm going to limit you to 2 as well. And then I'm going to recruit to your army 2 of these, 3 of these, and 1, 2 of these. There you go. Armies are super cool in this game. There's still some flaws that it has, but most of the time they're going to be cool. I'm going to roleplay armies as best as I can. When you have a multi-front war, you cannot roleplay them because the AI freaks out. But there's a feature in this game, and also I'm going to give you bottleneck, by the way. So the tactics are effective against each other in a minimal way, but then give bonuses to specific units. For example, with the bottleneck, obviously our heavy troops hold better, right? I'm going to make both of them use the bottleneck tactic. You can guess the tactics of your enemy, but most of the time it's just a gamble. But the cool part about this is army automation. So I'm going to name, and I'm going to do that right now, I'm going to name a general for this army, and let me just see who I would like to name for it. So this one is Legion 1, and will be led by our consul. That is the army that I will personally lead at all times. And then I'm going to have Legion 2 under control of... I already see a cool name here. I see 2 cool names, really. Publius Cornelius Arvina and Marcus Valerius Corvinus. I think... So, Valerius is a Scorn family. You don't know what that means yet. Are the Cornelii? The Cornelii are also a Scorn family. What you should always look at, of course, is the martial skill. It gives you huge bonuses and can actually decide battles. But at the same time, the Cornelius dynasty, if you haven't heard of it, is the dynasty of Scipio Africanus. The man that went via Iberia to Carthage. So I want them to prosper. And dynasties in this game can disappear primarily because their prominence just goes too low. It doesn't mean they are properly gone, but they're not a major focus in our country anymore. They may rise up later. But I want to preserve the Cornelius dynasty. Alright, so far so good. With all that being said, I'm gonna give Cornelius here, Publius Cornelius, the objective of independent operations, and he shall do whatever he wants. Now, one primary step that we haven't done so far is, first of all, we gotta give the Navy commander as well, and I think I'm gonna give him... Don't want to banish Valerius. So, this dude is the son... I know, I did it, no! Well, he's an admiral now. He's the son of Marcus Valerius Corvus, a legendary general who was consul, I think 3 or 4 times, dictator 2 times. Great man, absolutely amazing man, lived to be 100. Incredible, it's honestly, this dude is insane, and he's the son of him, so it's obviously important that, you know, his dynasty gets not, doesn't get kind of, you know, like, screwed over. So I'm going to put him into place there. I would have actually put somebody else in there, but I accidentally clicked on him. What I would advise you to do first and foremost, because you need to remember this is a game about conquest, about forming an empire. I know there's plenty of you that want to play tall, but I'm telling you straight up, conquering is always superior to playing tall. And by conquering, I don't necessarily mean taking things yourself, but if you make a vassal here, for example, which I won't do, but if you make a vassal here, it's better than sitting here for 50 years and getting a tech level up. I'm telling you straight up, if you have a player that does that in a one province minor, especially in multiplayer, it's just not a valid exploit. The exploit is not that strong. I'm telling you, like, I'm guaranteeing it for you, okay? I would advise when you start out a game, unless you are Rome or one of the Diadochi, fabricate a claim right away. Costs you 180 oratory power. You need that claim though. You want to expand as soon as possible. So that is my advice in that regard. And now let's just jump into what Rome can do, because we get free claims in 3 months. It's scripted. What we can do with the oratory power. Every government form has different national ideas that they prioritize. For example, we have military, and oratory. If we look at Lucania, they are only a tribe, so they only have 2, and it's military and oratory. Then we have Phrygia, and they are an aristocratic monarchy, so it's military, oratory, and oratory. So the government type makes it so that all these ideas are the same for all of the aristocratic monarchies. The oligarchy republics down here, for example, like Carthage, they have civic ideas and oratory ideas. What you want to do is, no matter whether you fabricate a claim or whatever you do, you want to get this one filled as soon as possible. Once you have all the ideas matching your government type, this becomes active. So monthly loyalty plus 0.02, national freedom happiness plus 10%, and every power gets 1 additional point per month. It is crazy good. So let's do that right away. All that is grayed out is locked behind technology, so don't worry about those too much. Technology is going to come up whenever it comes up. I'm going to go with a martial ethos. Ensuring that our soldiers and veterans hold a prestigious place in the social hierarchy is key to their contentment and loyalty. So morale of armies goes up, and since we're playing on very hard, we will need that. I will also go with permanent shipyards. Establishment of permanent shipyards capable of constructing vessels of war will ensure that skilled shipwrights are always at our beck and call. I want to build a navy to challenge Carthage with. So let's do this. I also think it would, you know, kind of fit his character. He's jealous, victorious, and wise. He is a statesman of the civic faction, so building ships, creating an industry is important to him. And the last idea, last but not least, will be military administration. By merging a clear, ordered bureaucratic framework into our military hierarchy, it becomes far easier to coordinate large military reforms. Monthly general and admiral loyalty 0.05. It is huge, and as you can see, it consumed our oratory power, so it's either a claim or doing this right away. One or the other, you better choose them, and then you go ahead and deal with the aftermath. Inventions are part of the scientific process here, and it's interesting. You have researches for every single advance, so martial, civic, oratory, and religious, and once you advance in them, you get a new addition to your pool of inventions that you can choose from. It is very reminiscent, I believe, of the Stellaris kind of randomized, you know, tech tree. And, well, did you know that Johann was the one to develop the Stellaris tech tree? That's right. So I'm just going to pick up some good ones. I personally really like Fabricate Claim Cost. I know we don't have, then again, with Rome you don't really need it right now. I usually play other people, but, you know, I put such a large time into this game already, it's crazy. I have a routine at this point. I like technology speed from the very beginning. Oh, I should read those. Knowledge of the plants and herbs which surround us can have uses beyond that which many would suspect. From birth control to medicine, we cannot underestimate botany. There you go, alright. And we can also call down an omen. And I want you to understand that we're not literally getting support by Mars or Jupiter, Mercury or Fortuna. Instead, our people believe in it. And that is what matters. If you have a very multi-religious empire, your religious unity goes down, and religious unity directly influences the omen power, meaning that you might be screwed. So if you only have 50% here, the omen power is much, much weaker. The discipline is suddenly not 5.6, but only maybe, you know, like 2.6. And that's just disappointing. So try to, first of all, blob into a region that is similar to yours, and after all, maybe try to convert some people. Pops react allergic to being ruled by a foreign culture, but kind of can deal with foreign religions, but your religious unity is still important. Anyway, I'm going to pick up Blessing of Mars because I'm going to go for some early wars here. And then we're just going to unpause. There's so much to talk about, honestly. If you really want a good introduction, just follow this series because I will go through the individual tabs. We already did the Senate today. And the positions, by the way, like, they are very powerful. You need to watch out who you give them to. The laws are really, really interesting, but we can't change them anyway. The military traditions, we'll get to that when we get to it, right? Religion we already did. Economy, you don't have any sliders anymore. That's fine, though. I think we should talk about the rest when we actually come to it. Characters is such an important screen. Let's talk to it once we have things that actually matter going on. Alright, so we are currently recruiting our army. This army, under our good old Publius Cornelius Arvina, who will hopefully make himself a big name in the history and in the politics of Rome, will be automated. He has entirely the chance of just doing whatever he wants to do. We are already married to Papiria Prima, which is good because once your ruler is married, and this is important, when your ruler is married, people will also get married. Your ruler has priority, so always make sure he's married. The Latin local power of Apulia offers us an alliance. Absolutely not. I want to conquer you. Do you not realize this? What is your... Do you have an ambition, by the way? I didn't check this. Conquer Apulia. Very, very nice. What is your ambition? Be appointed dictator. So, characters have ambitions. If you fulfill those ambitions, they will be happier with you. The leader here, so our ruler, cannot have more or less of 100 loyalty, because he is the leader, well. But, if you fulfill this one, you gain 10 popularity and 1 stability. So this is like a mission in EU4, you know, the old missions. Or a mission in EU3, for example. You don't have to do it, but you can, and you get bonuses if you do it. Then on the other hand, Publius Cornelius Arvina wants to conquer Apulia. So once we hold all of Apulia, he will gain 20 loyalty, and he will also be very, very happy. He will gain 10 prominence. Prominence leading to the case that he will get likely married, and his family line will continue. Popularity being what gets you elected in the Senate. And loyalty just being the loyalty to us. Well, if a general gets disloyal, you have a problem, because he's going to try to dispose you. Alright, and while these all auto-gather, here comes the event. The Ascendance of Rome. The end of the recent conflict with our enemies in Etruria and Samnium has left our republic as the strongest power on the Italian peninsula. Our victory has firmly convinced our feudatories, so that's the Foederati, which is everybody over here. You see see these people here that they highlight? This, and this, and this, and this. Those are Foederati. Our victory has firmly convinced our Foederatis in the value of supporting our cause, and has shown other small states that the value of being on our side. Grammar. Roman settlers are now moving on their own accord into the region to our north and east, establishing new colonies, expecting our protection. Everyone now looks to us, from Samnium and Etruria to Sicily and Carthage, awaiting our next move, and we get big money claims. Look at this. We got a claim on Etruria, Tuscia, Picenum, Campania, Apulia, and Lucania. So we don't have to fabricate any claims. We can just go in. Oh, and this is perfect. He's friends. Ooh, this is going to be a big war. I like it. So we're going to start a war here when we attack this person, Samnium, which I will attack because our general wants to conquer Apulia, so I think he has a vested interest in actually doing that. Or did he move down here himself? We will fight against Lucania, Samnium, and Brutia. Brutia being fairly small. But this might be a major expansion for us all the way down to the boot right here. Let's just start doing this. You know, the first episode can be a bit longer. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm going to declare war. And then I'm going to... Oh, first of all, let's talk about this. This is cool. So, we have 48 out of 100 Senate seats behind us. Once you have 40, I think 40 is the cutoff, you can push through something through the Senate. But you will gain 5 tyranny for it. In this case, I will do it. when we do it, populist characters will lose loyalty, while militarist characters will gain loyalty. The changes in the Senate seats will be for +5 in the favor of the military faction. What you could do is, you could go and, you know, for example, endorse a faction, spend 25 oratory power, and also gain 5 tyranny, but I think I'm just going to leave them alone in the Senate and push this through. So let's go. Declare war on Samnia using Wargol take Apulia. Forcing this through the Senate will increase tyranny by 5. And now you can see tyranny here, so loyalty and culture happiness of our primary culture, so Roman, goes down a tiny little bit at this level, but our national slave output and the imprison and execute costs go down. Well, Publius Sempronius Sophus just could not wait. He wants to finish his campaign against the Samnites. And all of our foederati, and as you can see they are numerous, will aid us in this war. So I shall march in here, and if we can, I would love to destroy one of these major Samnite armies. I don't think we're going to catch them, yeah, this is a bit disappointing. But as you can see, there's major forces coming here. Coming over from Lucania as well as Brutii, but I guess that they're still further behind. I would love to siege down... Oh, and there you have it, this is so cool! I would love to siege down this fort. So there's 2 forts right next to each other. I would love to siege this one down. And there is a battle imminent, only against 1k, but it is a battle nonetheless. Ooh, and you know what? I'm actually gonna turn around. We're gonna fight this battle, but then turn around, because I want to beat them up over here. When you are close to a battle, what it will show you is an analysis of what the game thinks, how successful you're going to be. Our commander is better, we have a stronger army, and our army has higher morale than theirs. Their army is better quality, and their terrain is to their benefit. Is it to higher quality? I don't think it is, but that's fine. Let's move in. Let's beat them up, boys. Whenever you enter a battle with an army selected, it slows down to 2, but this, like to speed 2, but this battle was just too fast. And we have immediately imprisoned Secundus Pompilius. Enemy captured. Just as it should be. Alright, let's head over here. You can see Lucania trying to siege down Nucaria, an important part of one of our feudatories. I would love to actually defeat them there. I don't know if we can, but since they are sitting on a hostile fort, they will be the attackers in any war, on any fight that we start with them. So we may have to, we may have a chance here. It's going to be very, very tight. I'm going to give it my all. Oh, this is not going to, yeah, this is going to go badly now that they reinforced there. As you can see, here's the lining. Ah, unfortunate. Alright, we lost this fight. That was a bit of a shame there. You know, usually you would have these 2 armies, you would operate both of them. In this case, I kind of just don't want to do that. You know, I want to have this done by the AI, because this is his own general, you know, this is Publius Cornelius Arvina. He has his own character. And I care for that. It's a bit of a suboptimal playstyle, but, you know, hey, if you roleplay, you gotta expect that. I will now activate for 5, you know, power here, for 5 military power, reinforcement speed plus 25%, but our army speed is down. I will also go ahead and actually cut down on fleet maintenance. The Heraclean Path. Saticula has seen a huge influx of visitors lately, and a reputation for being one of the cities Hercules passed through on his way to Eurystheus, back from Erythea. Though it is impossible to say if he truly passed through this city or not, the stories have flourished lately. This is a prime opportunity to build upon the myth, to honor the hero and increase the potential commerce in Saticula. Saticula being right over here. There. I could spend power for more tax and army movement speed. Or I could just gain power but lose money. I'm gonna spend the power, sure. And in the meantime, Publius Sempronius Sophus is reorganizing his troops. I don't know if we can actually save this. Sardinia wants to join an alliance with us. I don't think so, mate. You are ripe for conquering. But we are sieging down 2 of their forts, so I guess it's only fair. Ah, okay, they offer me a trade. I'm gonna explain trade in a different episode, but what you need to know is if you have a +1, which is a surplus, in your capital province, that gives you specific bonuses. Right now, they are asking for iron from Latium, taking away our +1, taking away our bonus for a worse bonus. Absolutely not, you fools. I want the bonus. I need the bonus. Alright, we are reinforcing our troops, and they actually gave up the siege of Nucaria. Interesting. What exactly happened there? And what is Frentania, the madman? Frentania and Marzi are going down here. In the south. Wow. Low navy maintenance, that's to be expected. This would also be removing one of our thingies, bonuses. And I'm going to actually allow people to attach to my army, and after the next tick, I'm going to stop the army reinforcement here. There you go. Right, they have 20,000 men down there. If I can somebody to attach to me, we could fight them. But the way it looks like right now, we will not actually be able to do that. Already 35 minutes in. Oh, they are leaving. They have abandoned the siege yet again. They want to fend off people that march into their, back country. Understandable, frankly. Now, what are you going to see here as soon as we siege this down? Ooh. You think we can join that in time? Oh, we totally did, boys. Look at this stuff. This is the good stuff. Oh, we are destroying them, and that is a scene. They only have velitas, so they only have light infantry. They're getting beaten up. Oh boy. They also have the wrong tactic, which gives us an additional bonus, or rather them a malus. We destroyed so many of their troops. Look at our losses. We barely lost anything. 3,000. Ooh, Jesus. This dude is not in our country, but his popularity just rose by 11 just for one battle. That is crazy. I don't think this impacted Publius Sempronius. Yeah, I do not believe it did. Alright, what I will do for the last action of this episode, I will name Publius Sempronius Sophus Dictator. But before we do that, I will actually take action in the Senate. Prop you up a bit. Still against it, huh? You know what? I'm going to prop you up once more. So this costs us power and tyranny, but as I said, tyranny has positive and negative effects. And minus 7.3% for primary culture happiness is not that bad. Oh, come on, dude. We need one more seat. No! We just need one more seat. I don't want to give it to the populists, but I'm going to do it. Alright, well. That pushes us up to already 19.71 tyranny. And now I shall anoint you the dictator. Emergency powers are granted to your consul until you're next at peace. Dictatorial powers mean that the Senate will vote in your favor for most actions. So I did this, not because I want to push through any reforms. It's a good thing to do, though, for reforms, but I did it for his ambition. Our realm is more stable because it increased just then. Based on... Oh, there's another fight here. No. This is a real struggle now, but I think we're going to get him. Come with even more troops up here. Yeah, we're going to get him. Ooh, this is a weird army composition. Is this working correctly? The Siege of Bovianum is one. Beautiful. You did a good job there. So he now earns some glory. Some popularity for himself. Hope it helps him. Sextus Anicius is going to get even more popularity. Look at this. 22 in the couple of weeks. Just rose up to that much popularity. I love it. Alright, with that being done, Samnium has fallen, but its allies to the south have not. So let us march south, but let's keep in mind that this is the end of this episode. I will see you in the next one. Let's keep it eventful, let's keep it cool, and if you haven't subscribed already, I would urge you to do it so that you have, always, when I stumble over my words, lol, so that you will always be hearing of me playing this game via your subscription box. Have a good one, see you later, alligator.